is the D&D Dummy Club.
Mode D.
Mode the D.
All right, this will be session 0, where we will discuss our new characters and the future that is gonna I don't even know what word I want to use for it. But it's
What's gonna unfold?
Unfold or unveiled. Devin prefers unveil.
Well, and then we're also going to be talking about everything that we think needs to be happening in the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all that fun stuff, too.
And one thing I'd like to bring up also is our purpose in battle. Like, what role do you usually take? I mean,
Yeah, we'll go over
we've
that
been
when
working
we
as a team for 3 years.
Sure.
You know, that's something that I think would be important as well.
There you go.
So basically, the backstory that I've given you guys is that you all had been at war, working for the same army for the last 3 years in battle, helping trying to fight back this undead horde that had been running rampant through the Forgotten Realms. And it's at this point where it appears that you guys have banished the undead for the most part, and it's been about 8 months since that has subsided, and since then you guys have been relinquished of your duties with the kingdom that you represented. And it was actually the noble was, or the king I should say, held crown in Waterdeep.
So, what kingdom was this? Sorry,
You were in water. You basically were fighting for Waterdeep.
Does the king have a name?
Yes.
Do we know any of the lords, or how does that work here?
No, you don't know any of the lords really, but the king, his name was right here. His name was Justin Bellwater. Justin Bellwater, but it was referred to as King Bellwater. You guys had a great rapport and relationship with him as you guys were on these different missions while you were working for him. However, a few months after the expungement of the undead, he fell ill and passed away, leaving his son, Jagod, it's Jagod, taking the throne. Now,
D-O-G?
yeah, Jagod, G-O-D, I'm sorry. He never really liked you guys. So once his father passed on, one of his first actions was kind of like to relinquish you guys of your duties. Now, you all were under the impression, well, if we stick around here in this city, we're probably going to get killed. Because you didn't always agree with how he did things. Like, he would always go against what his father wanted. Because he would be out in battle, and he would never really go along with what his dad wanted. You guys knowing that and being in favor of his father, felt it was more prudent for you guys to get out of Waterdeep before you were beheaded or imprisoned or whatever he would do.
More chaotic in nature, lawful in nature. What would we?
What's that? I'm sorry. What's the question? You guys are all good in nature.
Jagod, was he more chaotic in nature, more lawful?
Yeah,
in
he
nature?
was more chaotic.
More chaotic.
Yeah, more chaotic.
Not following his father.
His father was
stuff
lawful.
I'm trying to. Okay.
Was a lawful good king. He always cared about everyone from peasants to any of the political hierarchy of the city, he treated everyone equally. He never played favorites, and a lot of times he got a lot of backlash from that. So there's a lot of circles, especially around Waterdeep, that look at the son taking over as a better thing because he's more easy to manipulate than the father was. So, with that being said, you guys have hit the road. You split up for a short time to try to go take care of loose ends, whether going to see your families or if there was anything left. Unfortunately, to all of your dismay, nothing had been left for you guys in your previous lives because of the undead blight. Pretty much wiped out a lot. So the whole realm is in this rebuilding phase, and you guys all have agreed to meet up in the town of Longsaddle. That's where you'll be heading, and that's where the game will start off. When we have our first adventure, we'll be in the town of Longsaddle. What's that?
So what was our? Were we part of a company, regiment? What were we? Battalion? What?
You are a company in a regiment, and your specialty was horseback missions. You guys all are very proficient in horsemanship. That's why I gave you guys the bonus of animal handling horses.
Combat on horses also, or
Yes,
just animal?
yeah, combat on horses as well.
Combat horsemanship, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you actually earned quite a reputation of being remarkable horsemen and being able to get in and get out of areas rather quickly and pulling off things that weren't going to be good. A lot of them were like, oh, there's probably a good chance you're not going to make it, but you guys pulled it off anyways. And so there's a reputation in the realm.
What was our name?
You will learn that name here to come in the near future when you meet up with the rest of the guys. Some of the
I don't know
guys.
what my company's name is.
We were just part of the kingdom.
Yeah, you didn't have a name.
No
but
problem.
We didn't have a name.
You didn't have a name, but
Okay.
there was a name given you guys, unbeknownst to you guys.
No problem. That's
So
did to go with Chris's question. Sorry, Topher's question. Apologize.
yeah,
Did we have certain roles to go with what you were asking?
that's what
within
you're
our
going to talk
company?
about tonight.
Okay. Sorry.
We're going to
I'm
hash
asking
that
a lot
out
of
loud.
questions because I wasn't here the other night. I
Yeah,
don't know what
we're
happened.
not going to
And
role
keep
play
in mind-
that part out.
And,
We're just going to talk
keep in
about
mind, this is so that everyone's on the same page of you guys are all part of the same team. There's no secret things going on, or
We're all family.
you're like family.
Right.
Even though you're not blood, you're bound by blood because
except for these two.
You guys all fought together, other with the exception of the brothers. You guys have all fought by each other's side. You've had comrades that were part of your guys' group that have died, that you all felt grief towards. So you have that common bond.
We sat around many a campfire talking about our history and where we come from, and who we are, and
Right.
trusting each other with those secrets.
And tonight you're going to talk about
because
your
we figured that
backgrounds.
the other guy'd be dead anyway.
And that's why tonight, with this episode, you guys are going to explain your backgrounds, so everyone here is on the same page and has a little bit more insight for each character that is being represented tonight. So that's where we'll take it. And with that being said, why don't we start off with Devin? Why don't you explain who you're playing and who you are?
I'm playing Chimoku. I am a Warforged Ranger. And you just want my background?
Explain to the guys how you came to be.
Alright, well,
What do you look like? The whole 9 yards.
okay, well, I am a Warforged. And if you want to pass that around, that's what I look like. So, I'm just going to read directly off of my page
Go
here.
for it.
My story begins in nothing. I'm feeling coming to, but my eyes aren't working. Flashes of moving images running through my mind. An old man, short in stature, with a long red beard, waving what looks like colored crystals over me. Intense red and green light emanating from them. Next flash. A group of heavily bearded people all gathered around me, their heads low, silently weeping. They all had this strange symbol on their clothing and weapons. If you look at my sheet, that is the symbol that they were all carrying. This is a symbol that is also carved into my chest. Let's see. Next flash. I seem to be upright. I'm being moved by Dolly to a wagon. That same old man with a long beard being given what looks like gemstones by a strange looking person. Tall, with pale skin, large forehead, and pointy ears. Next flash. I'm standing in what looks like a heavily forested area. In front of me is the same pale-skinned man, reading from books, chanting words I can't understand. Then once again, nothing. An unknown amount of time passes. I come to. My blurry vision comes into focus. I scan the area. There are large trees, a boulder off to one side, and in the distance, a small wagon path. It looks like the same spot I saw in my head, but somehow different, older. I can't move, and I can't speak. What do I do? After a large amount of time passes, I realize that there is nothing that I could do. I just have to calm down and be content with watching the world as it passes me by. Many moons go by, and lucky for me, this path was traveled by almost everybody going from place to place. I watched and listened. During the day, I learned about different races, new languages, and the local way of life. At night, I learned everything about the forest, animals, and especially the shadows. One day, a large caravan stops. Many strange-looking people gather around me. One of them says, "I bet we can get a good price for that ugly monstrosity." They all agreed and hauled me out of the cover of the trees and into one of the wagons. As I'm laying there, a tall, humanish man sits down next to me. Next few hours were pretty boring, just staring at the top of the wagon's canvas roof. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the human just starts talking to me. "Hello, middleman. My name is Marcus. What's yours?" A moment of silence, and then he laughs. "I guess I'll have to give you one since you're not talking." How about Chimoku? It means silence where I'm from. I thought, what? A name? I've never had a name before. For the next several months, Marcus talked to me about everything. Who he was, where he was from, and all the adventures he'd been on leading up to finding me. One day I overheard two of the other caravan members talking about me. "I'm tired of hauling this overgrown tin can. If we don't sell this metal hunk of junk in the next town, we'll strip it down and sell it for scrap. This isn't good." In the next town, the caravanners thought they had a potential buyer for my metal ass. But it turns out...
Just your ass?
Yeah, just my ass. Just the cheeks.
That's why we always take the front of when we're...
Yeah.
But as it turns out, the buyer was a part of a large gang of thieves planning to rob them. As the caravanners wheeled me over, the gang of 10 ruffians started ransacking the wagons and beating the shit out of everybody. I see 3 large scoundrels pick up and throw Marcus out of the wagon. This triggered something deep inside me, and I feel my insides starting to get warm. The leader of the caravan pleads with the gang, "Those wagons are our livelihood." To which the gang's leader says, "You mean our wagons now." And he plunges his dagger in through his heart. The leader of the gang yells out, "Kill them all." I hear this, and my anger can't be controlled. The center of my chest starts to glow red, and from that, a symbol appears glowing white hot. The symbol that you all just saw. I scream out, "No!" I come to life and take off running full steam, picking up the gang leader and throwing him so hard against a neighboring tree, his spine snaps in two. As he screams out his call to death, the rest of the gang sees this and runs for their lives, yelling, "It's alive!" I walk over to Marcus and help him up and say, "What's up, Marcus? Thank you for giving me a name." And that is where our venture begins.
I like it. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is nice.
And that's where he first
Marcus.
met Marcus before you guys went into the military.
Now, who's playing Marcus?
You?
Yeah, some douchey guy. I don't know who he is.
And with that being said, hey Marcus, why don't you start your, tell us about your guy.
All right.
I'm sorry. What do we call your guy?
Well, my name is Chimoku, but if you guys want to get
We already called him Chin.
Chin?
Yeah. It's Chimo. How do you spell it?
So CHIN or M?
N.
Yeah, I know. I
M.
want to write it down though.
Chim.
Chin.
We're calling him Chin, even though it's Chimoko.
Yeah.
It's
Moku.
Chin
Chimoku.
Moku.
Chin.
Chin Muku.
N M.
Chin. Gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to write your name down. You can go with Chin. Chin Moku,
Just how it sounds.
the Warforge.
And
That's your last
what
name?
what skills does he have? Do we know?
Make a mean cup of coffee.
I'm a ranger.
So yeah, what do you have? What while we're doing it, maybe just describe a little bit about your
Yeah.
character. Like
Okay.
what feat do you have? Are you taking a feat or what?
Well, no, I haven't taken a feat
Why don't
because
we,
I'm not.
not to
very
interrupt, but I know we were on you. Why don't we go to Marcus, get the backstories, and then we can go through so we all understand each other
Yeah, we can do that.
before we do
All
that.
right.
You know what I mean?
I don't care how we do it.
Okay.
All right. Marcus was born and raised in a land called Far Blue. It is a land many say is on the far side of the world. He was raised by his mother. His father was never around. Occasionally, she would get help from her sister when she would work more hours as a cook or a butcher. When Marcus would ask her about his father, she would only reply, "He is a Titan." Marcus stands 6'3" tall, has tan skin and dark hair. He is half Asian from his mother, and the other half don't know since he doesn't know his father. In the sunlight, you can tell his hair is purple. His eyes are blue with what is best described as a metallic hue. I don't know if you've seen Pitch Black with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
It's not as pronounced as that, but it does have that
Metallic.
look.
Yeah.
He has a birthmark on the front side of his right shoulder, and it looks like that. It is so clean and perfect, you would think it was a tattoo. He is a handsome man that is in good shape. He had an overwhelming urge to travel, so at the age of 16, he left the Far Blue to see what the world had to offer. He would ride with caravans from destination to destination, helping with odd jobs to help pay for his travel. He would stand watch, play his flute, scribe writings, or just plain manual labor. When he reached Neverwinter, a great war erupted, and he was thrust into service. By that time, he was 18, and he was on the front lines learning to fight along the way. Shortly after joining the fight, he was reunited somewhat with a warforged being that he had traveled with for many months, but did not seem to be activated. He would talk to him as a friend, for he had none on his long journey. After joining the cavalry, he began healing the injured and really fell in love with the art and serving Ilmater, always keeping his symbol of his god on his shield. That is not as long as
No, it's good.
It sounded good.
Chimoku's.
I like
Good.
it.
It's good. I like the connection there.
And I do have the story for the one shot that I could read to everyone if they want to hear it.
Yeah, we'll do that later. We'll bring everyone up to speed. Let's go with the more impressive brother, Ayers.
Well, it kind of be both of ours.
Yeah, it's both. We ended up mixing the whole story
I
into one.
I just got the vision of you two sitting behind each other with tuxedos on. Oh no, you shut your mouth.
Is it
I'm sorry, I farted.
it's Pan?
Did we just become best friends?
Pan? Pan?
Pam?
Pan? Can you spell that? P-A-M. P-A-M-M-M. Right.
Yes. So
All right.
go right ahead.
No problem. So, two boys were born to Linfellow Molten Stride. They were 2 years apart. One was received and celebrated by House Molten Stride, and especially by Lord Armay Molten Stride. The man was very accomplished general of the king's army. He stepped into battle more than he ever stepped into calling guard or the bed chambers of Lady Linfellow Molten Stride. Because of this rare occasion, Ashtor Jedediah Molten Stride was in all the names, ranks, and gifts of Molten Stride. They called him AJ, as did the subjects throughout all of Calling Guard. AJ was without a doubt the next lord. He grew up favorably, loved by the people and the house, but AJ looked for a adventurous task as he grew into a young noble. He also became a hunter of all things, including those who broke the laws of the land. AJ's desires sent him on a path of a bounty hunter, something that was done in the shadows of being a lord. His quickness and his abilities to locate and bring down an enemy much bigger than himself made him a dangerous future lord indeed. His father loved him and ignored anything mentioned that wasn't singing AJ's praises. Lady Linfellow died shortly after she gave birth to her second son, who she never got to hold or name. Lord Armay arrived too late to see the birth of his wife, only an unnamed baby boy that took her life by claiming his own. Many of the members of the house spoke of lies as if they were truths. They spun webs into the defensive lord's mind. The boy was not his. The timeline didn't line up. This was a lie. The boy was much bigger than AJ or Armay when they were born. This was true. And the fact that Linfellow died during was a sign from the gods that her guilt was a dagger that took her life. And it was held by the nameless infant that was wailing for comfort, but received none. After a week, the boy was finally named and given to the cruelest of nursemaids. Ayers was chosen, an ancient name meaning ruin. No middle name was given. Middle names are for nobles. Ayers Molten Stride is completely a full-blooded Molten Stride, but it was one. If one was to ask Lord Armay, he would be quick to tell you about his one son, Ashtor Jedediah. But as far as Ayers was concerned, he never drew a breath. AJ and Ayers were brothers from the very first moment they were allowed to meet. Their lives mattered to one another more than anyone else's. Their father's absence made them grow together, even if it was against his wishes. Ayers spent his time fighting the boys and some of the men in calling guard, and eventually found a home with the house lower ranked soldiers. Ayers' drive in everything he does is to bring honor to the Molten Stride name. During his time with the guards, a half-elf traveling mercenary named Marsh Milestone took Ayers under his wing and taught him the way of honor and the skill of the sword. Marsh was old and had traveled to all the corners of the known world and beyond. Marsh was not long for the world. He died one morning in his bed with just bone dice to his name. Ayers took him to the heavens, where all the nobles were laid to rest and sent above in ash. Because of this transgression against the House of Molten Stride, Ayers was thrown into the dungeons. At the time of Ayers' incarceration, Lord Armay Molten Stride returned home and passed in his bed with AJ by his side. As much as AJ demanded that his brother be released from his cell, the members of the house refused. AJ was not yet lord, and his wants were not law. Lord Armay Molten Stride was turned to ash next to the place Lady Linfellow took her steps in the pillars of smoke 16 years earlier. Many did not know that the spot picked was the exact spot where Ayers sent Marsh Milestone on his afterlife journey. The night was one of mourning, celebrating the life of Calling Guard's Lord as they prepared for the new. AJ drank himself into a place of anger, and after taking a tray of meats, fruits, cakes, and many bottles of wine from the hall, he trekked to the dungeon and made promises of reassignment to the guards. The doors to Ayers was open, and AJ entered to feast with the one person that he could call family. The guards locked the door behind him, a fact that wasn't discovered until the next morning. While the area named calling guards celebrated, cried, or slept, the army of the dead attacked. They swept through the area in a horde, destroying everyone and adding to their ranks. The only place that remained safe was the dungeon. As much as the brothers screamed and begged to be released to save their people, no one answered. The food and wine that AJ had brought was a saving grace. Without it, the 2 weeks they were in prison would have taken their lives. At what seems to be the end, the king's army arrived to the what was once called calling guard and released the boys. There was nothing and no one left to rule for AJ, and as always, the land was unaccepting of Ayers. The king's army quickly swore the Molten Stride brothers in, and their tour began. It wasn't where either thought they'd end up, but both made the best of it. AJ was relieved to not be trapped in a chair, settling disputes over whose cow got into whose crops. He began to expand his skill and found a meaning in the job, and at hand, the crossbow and AJ became one. Ayers climbed the ranks quickly to lieutenant, bringing his brother with him. Ayers became one with the sword and remembered all that Marsh had taught him. The two found a bigger family, and once their 3-year service was complete with the king's army, they stayed with the group as they ventured out into the world looking for what was coming next.
Nice.
I am a fighter. Not a small guy. I'm 6'5", got a mohawk, beard, about 260 pounds, and just a big fighter.
Yeah, I'm not quite. I'm a lot weaker than he is, but I'm 6'2", kind of wiry, but quick. And like I said, not strong, also a fighter, but I don't look like a fighter.
Now, do you guys have a preference in weaponry that you like to use?
I use a greatsword, always have, and no shield, always have used a greatsword.
I use my primary weapon as a hand crossbow, but when I'm up close, I use a rapier. But I really have kind of gotten fond of the whip, just because it keeps them at bay a little bit.
Okay,
A
where
whip
there's
pushes
a whip,
them back.
there's a way.
Yeah. But like I'm like maybe 200 pounds.
Okay,
So just 6'2", 200.
cool.
Yeah, and then he does carry our symbol on his shield.
Oh yeah, it's a horse with like fiery feet. Like it was walking on lava.
Nice.
Yeah, fire mare.
And one of
It's
the
like
things,
Crawl. Come on,
Crawl,
it's a great
dude.
movie.
Crawl, yes.
That was awesome.
yeah, one of the things
I should have had a glaive like that.
Yes. the
Not too
glaive.
late.
One of the things I didn't mention is when they found us in a cell, they didn't believe that our father was General Molten Stride. They
Yeah,
thought that if he was, he had put us in a prison for a reason.
Which is why we started on the infantry.
Yeah, so we didn't get any special privileges or anything like that. We all had to. We started where everybody else started.
Very cool.
I did not work on it nearly as much as you guys had, but if you don't mind,
No, that's
go
all right.
ahead.
It
Just
doesn't
wing it.
matter.
I'm winging it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adenia Grove Warden comes from the Feywilds,
Nice.
where time works differently. He is an elf of the Fey Warden. Grove Warden, as you guys will learn, as you've learned, is more of his job title when he was there. But the Feywild, even though it's strange and beautiful and mysterious, Adenia had heard of the mortal realm and of great knights and heroes and warriors, and always wanted to be right there in this battle and prove himself. He felt that his family and just in the Feywild, it's not necessarily safe, mind you, but it was boring to him. So he had maneuvered himself to visit the mortal plane during this great war. And I assume that he would probably be the last member of the group. This kind of strange, he is about 5'4", so he's probably the shortest member of this group. He is a very wiry elven build, but he dresses and acts like he was probably in a bunch of military academies as a kid, or at least that's the impression I'm giving. He talks about how you could have swung that sword better, or a whip isn't really a true hero's weapon. So he's kind of a little grating, but he is very, very good at spell casting, and he is accomplished bowman and sword wielder, so I can pretty much fit wherever the group needs him to be. Probably. That's kind of the extent I have right now. So even though the war's over, he still wears his military outfit, which is unique, I guess, from yours. I guess no one decided. Then I know there was that talk, like, what was our colors and all that jazz? We never really got to that.
No, well, you guys, most everyone ditched the colors because of, well,
Reasons.
because of the king passing away. Just not.
Yeah. So Denny's never worn anything like you guys. He has his own kind of robe, armor, or whatever like that. So he always kind of stood out from you guys. Didn't really.
Besides me, because I don't.
Yeah, you stand out great. You're completely
kind of
unique.
Because these guys are all bigger than I am.
Yeah.
So, but
Are your jabs ones that are meant to be critical, or do we take them more as you're more joking?
So probably at first it's probably irritating, and I'm sure you guys probably had said something to him, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he'll still do it, but more good-natured. You just that's just the way he is. He's not.
So if we laugh
insulting.
at you, you're not upset by it.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
I mean, he probably doesn't understand it. He probably thought, well, he must not have heard this joke or something like that, or we're all crazy.
But we're
because I know I'm not crazy.
We're already accustomed to his.
Yes.
His
So
critical.
we know you're going to be critical. One fact about
Sure.
This is also with you. Once I get blood on my armor, it stays. I clean my face, my body, all that stuff, but you never see me clean my armor off it. I'm honoring the blood of the person who I fought or the creature I did, which is completely totally opposite.
Yes, I cleaned my armor. It's polished, spit shined.
OCD'd.
Yeah. Very good.
So
He's
us
got
standing next to each
76
other.
different toothbrushes for each crevice. It's amazing.
We're like before and after pictures.
He's got an armor cleaning kit. He doesn't have an explorer's kit. He's got the armor cleaning kit.
Nice. Very nice.
But my plate armor is all different types of plate.
Why?
Because I collected off dead bodies.
Oh.
Whenever
You
there
just
was
fashioned your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good pauldron. I'll take that whenever I can use it.
But it's super shiny.
Yeah. So it has different etchings and stuff. Because
Yours is piecemeal.
kinda.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Sean, we should stop recording. That's what I was asking because I didn't know that.
All right, Kyle, who are you playing?
I am playing Gravenor Victor. Victor is a name that we use, or that's used in the areas where I was brought up.
What race are you? What kind of?
I'm a human variant
Okay.
fighter.
All right.
My parents were killed when I was young. I was recovered by the Fireforge clan, and my adopted father was Barzak.
Okay.
I was pushed to be magically inclined, but I'm really not. So
Okay.
I'm a fighter, and that's my bearing. I'm, as a result of my upbringing, I've learned how to take care of weapons and armor. I've learned survival traits. I've actually learned not to drink from hanging around with some of the younger people that went into the Gutbuster Brigade, because I see how they drink and see what happens, and my adopted father was kind of, I don't want to say against that, but always said, hey, you always stay vigilant and make sure that you're looking after the people that are closest to you and taking care of them. So that was something I was taught as a younger lad not to really do, was imbibe too much so that I would not be unable to do my job and look after those around me.
Okay. Cool.
So raised mainly around dwarves, so I know dwarvish as well as, probably as good or better than I know common. Plate, glaive.
So you're like a reach fighter. Is
Yes,
that your
I'm a reach
special?
fighter.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, do one of two things. I can take the front line is perfectly fine, but I'm also able to stand behind and help keep the back of somebody else in the front line if that's what they prefer.
Cool.
As you know, mounted combat perfectly suited for that.
Uh-huh.
Clangdon and Silverbeard in the God of Battle is the deity I've adopted,
Okay.
and that the things that my guy adheres to.
Cool.
And like the rest of us, we all were in the army together and served under a great king that unfortunately died, and we've been kind of tossed away with his son. So glad to be back together with everybody, and look forward to where this goes.
What weapon do you use?
Glaive.
I have a quick question.
Not the cool glaive.
So, your your adopted father is Barzak.
Mhm.
Okay, he's Fireforge clan.
Mhm.
Okay, how do you level off my symbol in my chest?
Oh, I recognize it right away. It's on the inside of my armor also.
Okay.
I don't openly display that I'm Fireforged because while I'm adopted into the clan as a result of, I was 2 when I was rescued, but basically raised and lived almost my entire life other than when I joined the army with Fireforged clan.
Right. So
I immediately recognize the symbol.
you recognize a symbol. I recognize a symbol on your armor.
Well, it's on the inside of my armor, so most people don't ever see it.
Right, but because
We
we're
would've-
brothers,
Yeah, you
we've
would have seen it for sure.
How do we
It
get
should've
to
brought you
keep that
closer
straight?
together.
Because I don't know. I did not know what that symbol meant. I have no idea.
But now you do.
So
I would guess in our travels that
No,
we've
but he needs to
discussed,
tell me
that we've
how we
talked that
discussed
some,
it.
that my
Right.
father is one of the 2 main guys that probably the main guy, but there's also another person, another dwarf that makes goodies and is one of the key players in the Fireforge clan.
Right, but I was activated. Like when I went online when I met Marcus 4 years ago, the year before the war broke out. But I'm actually hundreds of years older than that.
I would guess that at some point we have talked enough that we plan to go visit the Fireforge clan at some point in the future and find out who made you. I have my guesses on who made you,
Right.
but I'm not sure, and I wouldn't want to say unless they, because it, and I tell you, I find it very hard to believe that if you were made by the people I think you were, that you would have been abandoned. That's not who they are. So somehow somebody must have taken you from them, and they've probably been searching for you. That's what I would communicate to you, or my guess is. So it's I
Okay.
treat you more like a long lost family member as a result of that sigil.
Right, but like I'm trying to figure out like how we're gonna play this because I had no idea it was dwarvish, a dwarvish symbol, but I can read and speak dwarvish, and I don't know how. I don't know anything about anything other than when I started here. I woke up.
Through our army stuff together, my guess would be that we've talked about that, and I've said, well, you have to have been forged by a dwarf, and I'm pretty sure I know who, and so that's where you know dwarven and where you know probably
Well,
some
how
of the
old are
customs.
you? Because
I'm only at this point 20.
okay. So then you don't know who.
No, I don't know.
But you might know who we could talk to.
No, I probably know who forged you. I don't know when because we've discussed and you're way older than I am.
Right.
But that doesn't change the fact that there are probably only 2 or 3 people in the clan that I from my knowledge would be able to make something like you.
Okay.
So that could be something that the group would do then. Like,
Eventually, he'll probably weave in that because, as far as I know, I am just who I am. I just woke up.
right.
I wasn't born, but I have like dwarvish taste. You know, I'm not. I don't like take after, but you know, like the throwing axes are kind of like an homage without me.
Bearded women.
Right. Without me knowing, like I actually, in my picture, you see that I have what looks like
Yeah,
a
right.
bush.
Yeah, right.
It's a beard, but it's actually a bush,
And,
a
and-
green bush.
and you would know the only reason I'm clean shaven is because I've communicated this to you, is because the dwarves thought it would grow in patchy and look terrible. So they're like, shave it off, it looks terrible.
Right.
If you can't grow a real beard, shave it off. So I've always
So that I just
Kinda
want to
try
make
to
sure
keep
that
it
we
clean.
kind of get that backstory straight, just because we have that clan connection. So okay.
I was raised very militaristic, let's say. Care for your armor, care for your weapons, care for your friends. Your clan, armor, weapons, that's all. So those are your loved things and loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you do what you got to do to take care of them.
No, I don't have any armor, and the only thing I care about is you guys.
Well, and right, since being in this group together in the army, and now we're grouping back together, this is probably the core group that I like spending the most time with.
I thought we were the only people you spent
I
time
would think that even when we were just the battle was over, the war was over, we were still
We were
hanging
still
out.
tight
Sure,
Yeah.
right.
So we always
because
just
we
stuck
really
together.
only trusted each other. We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't really trust anybody else, even in our own regiment.
And speaking of that, the four of us stayed together. You two went off because you probably just wanted to do something by yourself.
Because you weren't there.
But
Right, but still.
you went looking for somebody.
Right.
You don't have your far blue is way too far away to go. We don't have anywhere to go back to, and neither do you. So that's why the four of us stuck together, and you two went and did something different, and we're meeting you up in Long Saddle. So
Some unfinished business,
Well,
I guess.
I'm 6'4", about 235, 240.
about my size.
Good build. You can tell that the glaive is not difficult at all for me to twirl around. Dexterous enough, even in plate, that I can move really well and throw this thing around like it's toothpick. So,
How'd you come
I'll
about
be in the
being
shade most of
inflated
the
as
time.
well?
It's good. It's comfortable there.
from my
Other
adopted
people
father.
blocking for you.
That's hilarious. I'm the one that
That's
looks
where the
like I was
scissors
one of the
come in.
happiest, and I'm not.
Okay.
That it was made by him.
Real quick.
And I know he can make magical.
This is
just once
kind
I do
of
it.
for the two brothers, but for the group in general. Like, you're the younger brother. We know you're the younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
But do you follow your older brother's lead, or do you lead, and who leads us?
I
Like, who
thought we
kinda
go.
is the?
I thought we lead.
I
he's
actually,
our leader.
I didn't miss that part. Sorry.
Yeah, I missed that too.
the whole thing with me is because our father mistreated him and always made him like non-existent. I've tended to follow his lead.
Compensating.
Yeah.
Compensating for your father's mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
But
and
also
the chair
out of-
wasn't really
but-
something he wanted either.
Yeah, but it's also out of respect too, because I mean, he was always stronger, and he was almost as fast as I was, but he was always hardier, and he had so much honor that that I just looked up. I looked up to him, even though he was younger than me,
Excellent.
because I'm not the guy that's super honorable. Because I like to do some shady things.
Shady. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
But those shady things are outside of
Well,
our
hey, we're
circle.
lawful good.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Or
Yeah.
they're
Hey,
for us.
how are you doing shady
for
things
us.
if we're all lawful good?
We're not lawful good. We act lawful good. We just
To
got
each
to
other.
understand that we're not. You don't have to be lawful good. I'm not playing another lawful good character ever. You know how impossible that is.
And as a neutral good character, my neutral is towards the laws of the land,
Right.
not towards us. Good is towards people and towards
Yeah.
us.
Now,
But if we walk in and they say, this law, that law sucks, and it doesn't benefit us, I'm not for that law.
Right.
Right.
but if we have a rule in the house between us,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm lawful good. I'll follow every rule that we have between the group of us.
Mine is that
And as
the
far as I'm
ones I
concerned-
fight with this group are the ones that are worth dying for. That whatever we have to do to try and
Right.
we're brothers, we're family, and that
Yeah, we'll sacrifice our lives
Right,
to save somebody
exactly.
else.
Right, and I will follow your guys' lead as far as anything is concerned. So if you guys agree that the law sucks and it's not to be followed, then it's not to be followed.
And I just that brings up another point that I want to, like their last thing, he was messaging Dave all the time, or Marcus, I should say.
Not really.
And, no, I know, but I forgot who I was talking to about it, but it was a really good idea. Maybe maybe there's a big reason why you would tend to go to talk to him is because he's the one that found you
A name.
and named you and all that other stuff. So he's like your mentor, I guess. So whenever he's like the first person you think of all the time when it comes to defending.
I don't play favorites.
Well,
Not
you
at
did
all.
it in a one shot.
You did it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did, because you kept sending messages.
I messaged him more than I messaged him.
No, you didn't. You messaged.
No.
All right, well, hold on. Well, can
Go
I,
back
no,
and
you
look
did
at
it.
it.
can I get
I
a different?
messaged him more.
When the battle started, definitely.
Yeah, when the battle started.
Why do you not take favorites?
Because you're all my brothers as far as
I got a brother. I got a brother. I mean, I have family members. I like this family. You know what I mean? Like I have favorites. I mean,
I would
right?
think-
I mean,
I would think
I got a
that
good
he
sister. I
would
got a bad
be-
sister. It's
But I would think that he
as
would be.
a
Blood mixture
Warforged-
related and loyalty makes you family.
right.
Sure.
And
Yes.
as a Warforged,
That
when we walk
I agree
around,
with 120%.
everybody looks at me like I'm a monster. So,
That's a
my
good saying.
a Warforged is actually in like normal life lower than like a Dragonborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
Not in this group.
I'm considered like
'Cause they don't have penis.
like to be stayed away from,
Okay.
and so I don't really care about.
That's a good question, though. I have another question. Do we know of other Warforged in the world, or is he unique?
No, there are
I'm-
other Warforgeds in the world. Yes.
There are other Warforges, and there's Warforged Sentinels, which aren't like me, that have no soul, even though I don't know that yet. And there are ones like me.
They were used a lot in the war.
Right.
Because at one point you were very scarce on bodies. So.
Right, and then
Yeah, and they also could have been turned into undead, which
also
was kind of
true.
a huge bonus.
Yeah.
But technically, I could be because I have a soul. And the Dwarvish actually stole the process from the Giants who first started the Warforges. So there's like a God forge, and that's what I am basically. Which eventually we'll find out at some point through him that I have the soul of a dwarf.
Okay. All right.
I thought it was the dwarves that originally made Warforged.
No, it was the Giants.
Yeah, I think it was the Giants.
The Giants,
Or the
the
gods,
dwarves.
yeah.
The dwarves stole the technology, and the only thing that's different is they
Neutral.
somewhere the Giants have, because there used to be many Warforged forges. Now there's there's only a few left, and there is one that is like a God forge. Like that's where they were all made. There are none that have been made in the past probably 50 years.
Cool beans.
But like I said, I don't take, because you guys are the only people that I really consider family. I don't favorites.
Sure.
And like I said, I was during battles and stuff like that, I was messaging him more. And the only reason I don't message, what I really wish is the spells where I could message everybody, but I can't. So I have to point at somebody's general direction to do that.
I just thought it would be like a cool like symbolism because he did find you and he did name you.
Yeah.
And I mean, you say you don't play favorites, but if the guy,
Well,
my dad is more important to me than like my brother.
Well,
not in
let's
the
say,
game, but I'm talking
gun
about
to
in
the head,
reality.
one of you and him were going to be killed, I would probably pick him.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
But I
So
don't.
you do have
Yeah,
favorites.
so you.
No,
so
but I don't.
die.
Fit,
It's not a bad
So
thing.
If
he's
I
gonna
had
pick
to-
you to die.
It's not a
if I
bad
had
thing.
to choose, and there's no way I
That's
could
what it
save
is.
both. If there was no way I could save both,
But what if he was closer and you could save him, but he's going to fall off the cliff?
I'm
Like-
going to save him.
Well, no.
I would throw myself to my death so that way I didn't have to choose.
There you go.
That sounds like what a robot would do. I saw Star Trek a
It's
couple
the-
times.
Well, that's
and
the
it blew
thing.
up.
It's not.
Dude,
That's
haven't you
another big thing.
Have you seen that
I
movie with
look,
Will Smith?
Yeah.
I look like a robot.
saw-
I look like a warforged,
Yeah.
like a sentinel, but
It's the
I'm
Keith
not.
that
I
made
act
Warforged.
like
Yeah,
a person.
I know.
All right, well,
I bleed
why
like
don't
a
we?
person.
You always save me. Always. Because I can cast Spare the Dying on everyone else.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Actually, that's valid, right?
So also,
But
I'm
that's
not
the-
that big. I'm
5'9".
5'8", 180
close.
pounds.
Too small.
He's only a couple
So-
inches taller than you.
Oh, okay.
They're usually
So I'm
6
not.
foot to 6
These
feet.
guys are bigger, but for some reason, because I'm a Warforged, I take up more attention. Which, depending how fast I can get my rogue levels, will change.
Okay. Cool.
And well, once he hits level 3 in his Gloomstalker, he'll be able to cast Disguise Self on himself.
And I could change in it. I could make myself look like anything. Well,
Any kind of appliance.
yeah.
What
I can change
roles,
myself
what roles
really
do we
quick.
play in battle? Can we go around and do that? And you had.
Well, why don't we describe our characters and then we can talk about the role and everything else.
Yeah.
too.
Well, you had a couple questions, and did you get all your answers?
Yeah, well, more or less. I mean, yeah. Like, questions are going to pop up. It's
Okay.
session 0,
Yeah.
so, you know.
Did anybody have a higher rank?
No,
He
held the highest rank
He
in
held
the
the
group.
highest rank. Everybody else I got,
Oh,
I'm
true,
assuming it's
okay.
the same, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Well,
I never
you're not a
really looked
cook.
into- Yeah, but we weren't. I didn't roll the soldier background, so I really don't.
You guys weren't officers. You were just regular grunts, regular soldiers. For all intents and purposes, privates.
Private parts.
Yeah,
Tend to be
But you're my
it's
favorite
more
private.
of a
yeah, because all the other ones are dead.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
The
liaison.
rest are dead.
Stop playing with her.
Nice.
Yeah.
The rest are still walking around somewhere, but
Yeah.
we just don't know where.
So I like to play with my privates a lot.
Yeah.
I hang out with my privates.
But as far as the military, we're not military anymore.
Right.
No.
I don't
No,
have any
It's
privates.
crankshaft.
Yeah. All mercy. That is true. Now you don't even have to. We can't even say you have a Coequlia.
I got a metal tube.
Metal tube. I got a metal tube.
That if I
We're
We're
intake
recording.
food or
I got you.
if I
I got you.
intake food or liquid, I have a place to where I can get rid of it.
Evacuate.
Well, you don't have to eat though.
I don't have to, but I can because I can taste
We
and I can
okay.
get drunk technically. No wait, I can't get drunk, can I? No, I can't get drunk,
I think it's
but I
up to
can
you.
drink.
I mean, if you like soaked yourself in bourbon, I mean, you are mostly wood, so I mean, that would like.
Well,
wouldn't
that's
it
another thing too.
permeate?
Zalatar wood, which is a tree that the elves use to make magical items.
Oh.
Wands.
So we
What
we
metal
So
is
it's not like
That's
if
where I
we
get my
if we
magical
crisped
powers.
you up a
What
bit,
metal are you made
we
out
could-
of?
That's a good point. What metal are you made
I
of?
don't know.
Cool.
So, but it's not anything that can't be destroyed. So,
I know. That's why Russ
And
Monsters
do you know about the
are
spout that
your
we put on your back?
Yeah, I'm made out of 303 stainless.
I'm giving you a sidekick. It's a baby Russ monster.
baby,
No.
Just have him drink the
He's
beer
cute.
and then put a little tap
He's
on
kinda
the
like-
back.
He just touches.
Or what?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
As
That's
long
why
as
you're
as long as
charged.
I'm letting it
Yeah,
come.
that's the whole reason why I have my magical power is because of the wood I'm constructed from.
And then he would probably have found out, like, if he falls in battle, like, who lays claim to all that valuable wood?
Alrighty, we got
I'm just saying, you know, like, you know. See?
some comments.
I kid.
I kid. Hey,
kid.
He goes, it needs something bad, trust me.
I kid, but I am a wizard. I could use a new
He's
staff.
writing down my value.
I would find
He's
out.
behind you with a tape measure.
I would find out what everybody would want. Like a warrior's barrel. Do we just
7
burn
rounds
it
out of
at
this
sea,
guy.
or-
I bet that we have to
Originally-
bury him. It's going to need a coffin.
Originally, I was going to be made out of mithril, but it's only a Warforged Sentinel can be made out of mithril. I'm not a Warforged Sentinel, so.
Alright, fair enough.
So you're made out of copper.
No, I'm not made out of copper. Actually, the metal is it's not non-consequential because I take damage just like
Paper mache.
humanoid.
It's Inconel. We'll just go with Inconel.
Lead.
Lead. Alright, so who wants to go first on describing their character?
Well, I think he described his character pretty much.
Well, I meant like what they can do and what their traits are and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean that part of the describing
Oh, yeah.
your character.
I'm a ranger with a dash of rogue. I can cast, obviously, because I'm made out of the Zalatar wood. Let's see. I carry a bow,
What kind of casting can you do?
ranger casting.
Like what spells can you currently cast right now?
Currently, At level 2, I can cast Cure Wounds and Hunter's Mark. Those are the ones that
Oh, okay.
So-
That's
Those are
cool.
good spells.
I also have cantrips. I have Friends and Message.
Top two.
Yeah.
I also have Command,
Okay.
Ensnaring Strike,
That's cool.
and then once I reach 3rd level for Gloomstalker, I get Disguise Self.
Now, what
Another spell.
what are your proficiencies that you're good at? Is there like anything that you've taken a liking to that you're
Oh.
becoming accomplished at?
Yeah, Stealth and Perception.
Okay.
So I'm, like I said, my fighting style's archery. For natural explorer, I'm forest. So anytime we're in a forest, I get advantage. And my favorite enemy's undead.
So
I decided to go to standard.
So during a battle, where would you be in the back too?
I would be in the
Shower?
back.
Yeah.
I would be in the
Right.
back.
Okay.
If any one of you don't call out my first attack, I will be lobbing arrows. So
Okay. So you
But
need to be arranged. Okay.
But aren't you an accomplished tracker as well?
yes,
You gotta-
Yeah, you're not out front scouting and tracking?
I can scout and I can track when we're not in battle. When we're in battle, I'm in the background. I will disappear. Unless somebody tells me, one of you guys,
Just pass it around though.
unless one of you guys tells me otherwise. As far as personality
Thank you,
traits,
sir.
I struggle to form a sense of identity and seek to reconcile my self-awareness. My ideals, I consider like punishment, basically like a public display of punishment to, you steal, you get punished for it. So everybody sees it. And also too is I'm sincere. There's no good in pretending to be something you're not. I'm not. Bonds. I'm fiercely protective of friends, and I'm also always seeking a greater truth about myself and the nature of life. So that's where he comes in with the Fire Force plan. And then my flaws. I am horribly awkward in social situations, despite my best efforts. My first thing is to hide, and I do talk to myself when I'm alone, because I was alone by myself for so long.
How would we know that?
Do you answer yourself?
I'll sometimes
Don't realize we're
mid-
around?
Yeah,
Because we're so
mid-conversation, or if I'm just off by myself, I will be talking.
Gotcha.
So if you come upon me, and I might be muttering something to myself.
This isn't why you're tracking and sneaking, right?
What's that?
He is
You don't talk while you're
He
tracking.
is alone though.
Probably. Well, you know what? Most of the time when I'm alone without you guys, it's probably when I am tracking. So
Gotcha.
I might actually be talking to myself.
What about languages?
Oh, I speak Common, Dwarvish,
Goblin.
yeah, I speak Goblin, Celestial, and Dragonic.
You're still learning Goblin.
Yeah.
It's a
You're still learning
it's
that.
a Goblin dialect
Mm,
that I cannot pronounce.
Southside Goblin.
Yeah.
there you go.
West Side.
What about like any tools that you're proficient with?
I am actually a woodcarver.
Okay, so
Proficient
you're,
with
you're
that.
proficient with wood carving, with
Oh.
the wood carver's tools.
Yes, and actually because I'm a warforged, my wood carving tools are in my hand. So they pop up, my hand will disappear and my chisel or my,
Go get your chisel.
yep, just like that. So I don't have to, like if I have my hatchet in one hand and I'm whittling something, I can just pull my knife out. And I can also use it as a weapon if I need to.
Cool.
So.
Any special things that you as a ranger or the rogue can do? That, I mean, obviously a sneak attack with the rogue.
Right, sneak attack.
I mean, like right at this level.
At this level, yeah. Sneak attack, thieves can't, so I can speak thieves can't, even though, and it's more because I want to learn about that, so I can be more adept to catching, these type of thievery and stuff. I think that's about it for right now, until I level up. But
And you don't have any like did you what pack did you take? Did you take
Oh.
like an explorer's pack or a
yeah,
dungeoneer's
I have an
pack?
explorer's pack. I have thieves tools, but I rarely use. And also because of my background, I get my background is Azorius functionary, so basically kind of like a
Utility droid.
it's kind of like a shit.
It was like shit. You don't.
No, like a cop, but not like a cop, like a
Like an MP.
kind of because I got
Like a century.
there you go. That's
Like a guard?
That's more like it.
Okay.
So I have a scroll containing text of law that are important to me, a bottle of blue ink, a pen. I do have a set of fine clothes on, with me, but I don't wear clothes. So a belt pouch containing one Azorius minted, one Zinco coin. I don't know exactly what that is.
Those are from Ravnica settings, so gold coin.
And I also, because of my background, gives me additional spells. That is pretty much it for the level I'm at right now.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, also too, as far as armor is concerned, I don't wear armor.
You are armor.
Technically, yes, because I'm a warforged. So, if I did decide to upgrade, I can upgrade to chain. But it would take me. I would have to integrate it into my body, and it would
To
take.
absorb it in.
Well, yeah, it would take quite a long time. I think there's an actual.
Kind of have to hammer it in,
I think there's an actual time.
built in.
It's integrated protection. Yeah, I must incorporate it into my body over the course of an hour, during which I must remain in contact with the armor. That's it. But I can't wear anything higher than the chain anyway, so, and it's not going to give me that much of a boost.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, what about AJ? What's he got to bring to the table?
Well, I'm a fighter, even though I don't look like a fighter. I dress more like a rogue, but I'm not a rogue in any way. I'm not a rogue.
Right.
I'm just going to be a rune knight all the way.
Never seen it.
Not very strong. As far as strength goes, I'm like -1. So I'm really kind of weak. So I mean, like when it comes to doing a lot of strength-based stuff, I would always leave that to my brother. Be like, I don't think I can lift that, so I'm gonna need you to help me. One of those type things. But I am very dexterous. My agility is pretty high, so which is the reason why I always trained with a crossbow when I was younger. I used a hand crossbow all the time, and I got as proficient as possible with it. I mean, it was like a daily occurrence. I would practice reloading, trying to reload as quick as I can, and I got good enough where I could do 2 shots in one round, and within 6 seconds, which was pretty damn good, for starting out. And I also learned a little bit about, that mainly was because of the reloading properties of it. Hence the reason why I took crossbow expert, because that's what I studied with. My main skills are stealth, sleight of hand, acrobatics, all the dex skills. Part of my part of the reason why I took sleight of hand and all that is because it's part of my issues. My ideal is I steal from the wealthy so I can help people in need. Well, some of it. Not all of it, but personality traits is I don't pay attention to the risk in a situation. I don't want to know the new odds, and any odds, but I'd rather make a new friend than a new enemy. Bonds, something important was taken from me, and I aim to steal it back. And what was taken from me and my brother was our name. So we're, I'm gonna do whatever. If I have to, I don't care if I have to lie, cheat, and steal to get that name back. We're gonna get that name back. So obviously, I'm neutral.
And how was your name stolen?
Well, it wasn't really stolen. It was just wiped off the face of the earth. Our father was dead. Our entire village was dead.
Oh, your lineage?
Yeah, our lineage is what we want to get back.
Kind of sounds like you're rebuilding your.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole goal. Is we want to rebuild our family.
Because when our father died, they didn't swear him in yet, so he never became lord of the area, anyways.
And they found us in jail together, not knowing the whole story, so they assumed that we were not the people that we said we were.
And what did you discover about your guys' group last week that you were called that you didn't know?
Oh, Asher's Long Riders. And I'm like, I don't like people using my real name, obviously, which is Asher Jedediah Molten Stride. Only because, mainly because, my father gave it to me, and I didn't like the way that he treated the rest of the family. He disrespected my brother, so I said, screw this, I'm going to go with AJ. And that's what I stuck with for as long as I could remember, was AJ.
How do you spell Asher?
Asher.
Couple of questions.
Yes.
I like your traits, so I'm going to ask you about the second one you said, where you would do whatever you took, lie, cheat, and steal. What was the second one you said?
Oh, that was when I about my that was the third one. That was about to get our name back.
No, the one before that.
Well, that was what I would lie, seek, steal to get as my name back.
So, here's a question. Like, or was there's something like you steal from the rich?
Oh yeah, I steal from the wealthy and then give it to people in need, and I put some of it.
So I'm going to just ask you. During our adventures, there had to be at one time where there was some riches that you could have gained, or something that you maybe would have taken that maybe we would. You know what? You never did that.
No, I would never do it. If there was something that we
Not
did,
from us.
No. Oh, this was all from pickpocketing.
Oh, okay.
I would see like a nobleman, and and I would look at him like,
So does
where
anybody
they
here?
shit on other people, and that's the guy I'm going to steal
So
from.
has anybody here ever caught you pickpocketing people?
No,
Okay.
because I wouldn't do it with you guys.
Oh, all right. Okay, cool. All right.
Just because mainly because we're in the army together.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say
So-
us. You were, but like.
Yeah,
maybe like,
he would know.
okay. All
He
right.
would definitely know.
All right.
And it's going to be coming out because my next feat is going to be quick fingered,
Okay.
which is sleight of hand.
We are recording.
Brother
I know.
doesn't like that.
That's okay, but it's gonna be a sleight of hand type thing,
Okay.
So I'm gonna be
I like
practicing, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna practice like planting stuff on you guys
Okay.
without you knowing,
Okay.
and then
And then set you up.
no, and then I'm gonna work with this guy here because he's quiet most of the time, and I'm gonna tell him, I go here, I'm gonna give him a coin. I'm just gonna say, here, put this on your body somewhere. I'm gonna try to steal it from you. Let me know if I find you or
I
not.
can't say it.
Obviously.
Yeah, he's
But that's how.
Between the cheeks.
Yeah. Well, hey man, if I could get it between the cheeks, dude, that's a nat 20 right there.
Oh my god.
I got it done.
Hide these chestnuts.
Yeah, but that's the reason. That's the reason why I want to do that is because I'm
I like. What
I'm
Kyle
trying to
said.
learn
We're gonna hide it
different
behind-
things, and obviously that's not going to be the only thing I do.
Don't tell him.
There's other stuff.
All right. Okay.
Save that.
Just wonder if there was like a connection between characters or something like that.
Oh, no.
That's the only thing I was just building out of.
No, and then my biggest flaw is,
That's not your biggest flaw?
No. Well, my flaw is if there's a plan, I'll forget it. If I don't forget it, I'll ignore it.
Gotcha. Wow.
So when it comes to the planning part, I'm kind of I'm kind of like the rogue of, not like the rogue, but
Has that ever gotten anybody killed or hurt badly? That's a good question. I mean, if you do that,
close.
And who was that? Who almost got killed?
I'm going to say I almost got my brother killed.
Okay. All right.
But then, so I still won't follow the plan all the way.
So does that cause a rift between you and your brother? Is your brother, because your brother's wanting to be like the leader of the group?
He doesn't know that, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't know that I actually was the problem that caused him to take like an extra hit because I decided to shoot some other dude instead of the guy that was on him.
Denny's a big snitch, he would have told you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I know.
But I don't know. I wouldn't know that he knew, so I'm just like, I just pretend it didn't happen.
He's always, anyway.
Yeah, and the background I took was urban bounty hunter.
Ah, nice.
Because, I just figured that was part of, those were the people that I hung out with. I was a noble, I was a nobleman, but I was kind of like the rebel because I didn't, I was kind of pissed at my father for the way, so I just rebelled in every way. And so I hung out with this bounty hunter, and he taught me a bunch of, shady things, and he hooked me up with thousands of contacts.
Nice.
And that your contacts, explain how that one works.
Well,
He actually has a cool ability that will come into play a lot with our new game that we're going to
Yeah, I've got a feature called Ear to the Ground. So I'm in frequent contact with people in the segment of society that your chosen Corys move through. So it doesn't matter if they're paupers or they're princes. If they're wanted by the law, I hunt them down. And these people, they might be associated with the criminal underworld, rough and tough tumble folk of the streets, members of high society, blah, blah, blah. This connection comes in the form of a contact in any city that I visit. A person who provides information about people and places of the local area. So I kind of have like this in with somebody in any town. Gotcha. where they have connections. It's like, I guess it's like my own snitch. I have my own snitch. So, if we want to find somebody, I can go up to him. I can find the guy I need to talk to. Say, hey man, have you heard anything? Any ideas of where they are or where they might be? Blah blah blah.
In essence, he's kind of like the face man in the A-Team.
Right. Dirk Benedict, nice.
Yeah, he's kind of face man, but not as pretty.
Yeah, obviously. Jesus.
No, I'm pretty.
Yeah, but I guess the gist of it. I mean, of course, the feat I took was crossbow expert, but the one thing that you guys really find weird is that I draw these little runes on my weapons and stuff like that, and it gives me like these weird special powers, and the only reason why I know this is because when I was younger, my father trained me on how to use these runes to be able to pull the magic out of them.
Was he a rune?
Yeah, he was. That's why I'm just going with that. He's a rune knight. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
But one of the things that I do that kind of freaks people out is I can enlarge myself. Like I'll be like a medium, just a regular guy, and then I use this ability, and it like turns me into a giant. Yeah.
Now, question: is that all of you or just parts of you?
What's that? Everything. Everything. No, that's not a bedroom thing. But it's also all of my.
I wasn't going there.
I know, but it's also all of my equipment as well.
Where were you going then with that?
Well, okay, let's say he needs
now
to
that
get
doesn't
something
make sense.
up top, but he doesn't need to grow complete giant. He can just grow his arm.
Oh, like Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, no,
Like
no,
that.
I can't do it.
Okay,
Why do you have to take it to a dirty place?
I took it to
I
that
wasn't
place.
taking
I
it
think
to
we
a
all
dirty
took it to
place.
that place.
He was going to be fast.
Sorry.
Everybody else here thought you were taking
will
it
not
to
address the Dungeon Master this way. I have to take it to a dirty place.
Okay.
Thank you.
But anyway,
I wasn't taking it to a dirty place.
even my equipment changes with me.
Oh man.
But if I'm in a confined area, you notice that when I try to use that ability, it doesn't. I don't grow at all because there's no space for me to grow in.
How does it not rip your pants or your clothing?
His
But
equipment, grows,
everything grows with it.
his equipment grows with him.
Yeah, that's the whole ability. Is that
Now, if you die in that big form, do we have to?
no? I shrink.
Okay, because I don't want to dig that big of a hole.
Yeah, I figured as much. But some of the
Work out for me,
but
bro.
the runes that I have, I mean, you guys have seen me use these runes in battle, like
Can you give us an example with your miniatures? Like, what do you look like normally, and then what do you change into?
I can't.
Are you a frontline guy, backline guy?
Oh, I'm a backliner.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the two different versions of
What
me.
have we seen you use your growth ability for? Frontlining?
Yeah, like if
Or to pick stuff out of a tree?
well, that too.
I go for it.
I mean, there was a lot of things like if you needed me to we had like a really big thing that we had to climb. Sometimes they would just set up and I'd be like this, and then you guys would just go right up me and get to the top, or I'd lift you up and put you up there. I mean, all kinds of stupid stuff that we did.
I never want that to happen more than once. That sounds right.
Come here, big boy.
How about when the
But there's
show-
all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of uses, but
Do you grow or do you actually get stronger or what happens?
no, yeah, my stats theoretically don't change. But I think the
So
weight
you're
that I
just-
could carry
you're-
might change because of the
Yes.
size.
Yes.
There's your weight.
Yeah, which is, the only thing. So I mean, I could carry more weight, so I would be able to lift things up, move things around. I mean, but mainly it was for battle.
Even
And
though
in
his strength
battle, you
doesn't
take
change?
up like 2 spaces then instead of 1.
I take up 4.
2 by 2.
Four?
Yeah, it's 2
Yep.
by 2 square.
Yeah,
2 by 2 square.
yeah,
Okay.
for
But
now.
his strength doesn't change, but he can lift more.
Yes.
You can carry more weight. Yep.
Yes. So like
I would be a weak giant. Is really what it is.
yeah.
I'd still be able to carry more than a regular person, but a regular giant would be like,
It's
you're
twice.
pitiful.
I think it's twice the weight as a large creature that has strength of 10 can carry twice as much as a medium creature, strength 10.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But the runes that I put on, you notice that like one day I might have dark vision, and you're like, how the heck does he have dark vision today? Well, it's because the magic from one of these runes gives me that ability. Oh, and I might have advantage here, blah blah blah. But like you've seen a couple different things. You've seen me charm people. You've seen me put handcuffs or shackles on a person that were like made out of fire.
How are they made out of fire?
It's just what it is.
That would hurt.
It says that when
Is that legal?
fiery shackles. But I can only do it once per.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I usually put them on their legs so it grows up, so it burns up.
He's not
Where do you keep these in your pocket?
No, it's part of the magic.
I'm really
Sounds like
got
an
an
80s
evil
band.
chant coming out.
Fiery shackles.
Yeah. But there's like I know I could charm some. You've even seen me. You've even watched like some of you guys has even taken a hit, and then and it was like you knew that this was gonna hurt. It was gonna be a death blow, but for some reason you didn't take any damage. But you watched one of the guys next to the guy that just hit you just go, and it looked like the damage just appeared on him. All because of all dependent upon what I use for that.
Fantastic.
It's pretty cool actually.
All right.
some creepy abilities.
Well, let's
yeah.
Adenia.
Denny, a Grove Warden. What am I supposed to go on now? Description. I am a wizard. I like to cast spells that cause fire to erupt, usually in cones or direct bolts, or just any forms of fire. I usually stick to fire spells, but I also have a few utility spells. I have a familiar that occasionally is around, but not always.
What kind of familiar?
Normally a little fox.
Little fox?
Little fox. I'm going to add that to my fig. He also does like to do manual labor, so he does have an unseen servant kind of on call. Like, we had to dig some ditches. Yeah, I'm not digging ditches. That's kind of beneath me. So I have an unseen servant dig my ditch or whatnot. Don't worry, he's getting paid.
Does he wear a mask so we can see where he is?
No, he's not saying I don't want. He's carrying the shovel. It's where the shovel is.
All right. Check.
I mean, hopefully you give him a shovel, dude. Some of the other things. I also have recently acquired a teleport spell, and if there are lock boxes that we need to get into, I do have a spell to pop it open.
With a really loud noise.
With a really loud noise, but it's open. It is open. So Adenya always wears his dress uniform, his armor, which normally is pristine, but he likes the fact that, like, when it takes damage, it doesn't get fixed. He also complains that where he's from, it always, like, get fixed by the next day. And you always want to, like, look like I've been in a fight or something like that. He really enjoys the whole... He treats himself as he's a warrior, like the rest of you guys. So probably early on, even in battle, he probably was a frontline guy, even though you're like, oh, you're no, not good. But he is very quick, and he is very opinionated, I guess we'll say that. He's very opinionated.
Now, do you carry a sword as well?
I do. I have a thin, short, elven long blade, or short blade, which I probably would have shown, like, use a real weapon. Put that whip away. Use it and train, because it's more dex-based. It's a very finesse weapon. Probably would have shown you that. I also have a longbow on me.
Nice.
That they have elvish writing and runes, but they're not magical, but they're definitely from the Feywild, or, yeah. So, getting to his particular traits, he likes to have had problems face on, a very simple, direct approach. Even though maybe so, like a battle plan will come up, he will come up to you and say, no, it's much better, and he will probably tell you the same thing, but it's better coming from me because I know more than you, obviously. At least early on in our relationship. He is he does like to follow authority, so he's probably the first one that says, well, like, he is the king, and and then probably shut his mouth because I've probably been with you guys long enough that, like, oh, this is not a popular decision, okay? He also he shows little respect for people that are not tested warriors. So you do notice that he looks down on common people. One of the things I would thought for me traveling, I probably would have traveled to some of the forest areas, trying to connect with the elves of this realm, which we didn't really have time to, unless we ran into them for some reason.
Right.
So that's where he went. That's where he decided to go off when everybody's kind of handling some personal business.
Right.
And that's where we're going to Long Saddle.
Yep,
Okay.
Long Saddle is where you guys are meeting up.
Probably till I got early to Long Paddle, realized I was in the wrong town, and have just made it here. So sorry about being late. I went to the wrong town.
What language do you speak?
I speak Common, Elven, and Dwarvish.
Okay, and which ones did you speak?
Common, Dwarvish, and Giant.
Very cool. I also am expert at driving land vehicles. And if anybody would like to, I do have a portable game of Dragon Chess, which I would love to play if anybody would like to play in spare time. Those are my proficiencies I bring to the table. I am very good at the arcane, and I'm also very good at investigating and finding the root of the problem. Also, as all elves, I'm very perceptive. I do take great pride in my physical prowess, and overjoyed that I actually beat people occasionally, or at least one person occasionally, and test some strength here. So I have athletic strength. I have an 11 strength, which I'm very proud of, and will try to occasionally try to out wrestle. Like, I don't really have. I'm like, my blind side is the limits of my physical body to great degrees.
When you pose for statues,
I flex up a little bit. Yeah, you don't notice. Yeah. I have dark vision. Another thing you guys have found out, I'm very, very quick to respond to danger. AKA my initiative score is +8. So
very nice.
So and
Cheater.
Yes, big time cheater. And also,
So you're very alert.
I'm very alert, ready for battle, I have a tactical mind and tactical wit. I'm always, expecting danger around every
Nothing
corner.
surprises
Nothing
you.
surprises me at all, except for
You're expecting danger, and he's always ready to kill somebody in case there might be danger.
right.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be great. I'm looking forward to this.
Can't wait for the first tavern.
And you're only 3 in. Just wait. It gets worse.
So
When you get there, it gets way worse.
So again, I think when I first joined the group, I was very much unaware of my mortality here. Who would have saved his life? We tried to somebody in the group saved my character's life at some point. He was a goner, ran out of spells, bit off more than he could chew, kind of left. Do you want
One
to
of
do
those
it?
two guys.
Yeah, or whoever.
Maybe both of them.
I would actually say both of them on a couple of occasions have
Sure.
saved your life.
Sure. So these guys have saved my life. I know. I mean, we've all worked together. We all worked, and I understand the whole bond of.
Dave was frontline too, so it could have been all three of us.
Yeah. So I don't care which. I want to pick one. I just want to have a special, not special connection, but just some story element. You saved my bacon. Whether it's,
I would say.
I'm gonna pick Kyle. Kyle wants
That's
it.
what I would do.
Great.
Well, yeah, we're brothers. I mean, it gives us each
They
connection.
know each other there. You have
Yeah.
this bond.
Yeah.
There's
And we're the last two to join, so we were in long
Yeah.
paddle together.
Yeah.
Long paddle.
You
You got the wrong place too. Well, we're both showed up there. We gotta go find them. They're lost.
I was guarding you. Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really want me to go through an extensive list of my spells, I didn't pick a lot
No,
just
you
because
don't
I
need to go
didn't.
through your list of spells. I brought that up for Chimoku because he's got a variety of things that he can do that he brings to the
Yeah.
table. He's not just the
catch signal
very
fire.
very cool automaton type of character.
Technically not an
What-
automaton.
What's your nickname?
Dan, you can call him Dan if you want. It's fine. If you really want to be quick about it, he'll answer to
I
that.
know it's quite a long name. I had to really.
I was thinking Den or AD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adenia? I mean, it's pretty easy.
I was gonna call you Al Dente.
Oh, okay.
It's French.
Humans.
I love it.
He's a French elf.
He's al dente because that's how he cooks them.
Yeah, most of my spells are. I mean, I have a few utility spells, but I don't have anything like I have magic missile. I have mage armor, that sort of shit.
Right.
I got tech magic. I got the the nerdy basics.
And the
or
fiery
whatever.
spells.
Definitely got to have the fire spells. Burning hands. Yeah, hell yeah.
Do you have
Do
Scorching
you
Ray?
have haste?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Do you have Scorching Ray?
You need haste.
No.
I need to get haste. Oh, it's we're starting to learn
Or
the
is that
system.
too
We
high
need
of a
haste.
level?
So for a second level, since
I know
I'm
it's only
just
a matter of
third,
time.
I get 2, and I thought I'll take knock. Covers if we need to get something open, and then Misty Step cuts. Fucking teleport.
Because it's Misty Step.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, that's,
And I figure I'll just be on the lookout for more spells.
so you have you can take and inscribe spells in
Yeah, I
your
have a
spell
spell
book.
book. Yeah, I'm a wizard. I have a spell book.
So if we find scrolls,
yeah,
we would automatically just bring them to you.
okay, I'll take it.
I mean, because
I like this.
I mean,
This is good.
if you could scribe it, then we find out if we didn't have, if you already had it, then we would figure out which person. Usually, the next in line would be, the other major.
Yeah, we don't
Magic
cast the same
caster.
spells. We don't cast the same spells.
Yeah, I know, but if it's a scroll, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Anybody can read a scroll. A fighter can read a scroll.
That's right.
So we would prefer to give it to somebody that is familiar with magic. At least that's what I would
Yeah. based
think.
on-
I mean, anybody have any other ideas about that?
Yeah, based on what the scroll is. I mean, do you have to read this? Yeah,
Depends
read
what the scroll is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Right,
if it's a
absolutely.
fireball, you're not going to be standing at the front line.
Yeah, I don't
Hello,
want.
Well, for the
let
most
me
part, you
read
guys
this.
will give it to him. Other than that, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we'd give it to him, and we'd trust that he would say, "Well, I don't. This is something that would be in better hands with so and so."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We leave the decision up to.
So you have a
up to
question, or you want to
Adani.
make a statement?
just where I would stand in combat or whatever like that, I can go anywhere. He is definitely a warrior that you could trust at range. I can sneaky. I can sneak ahead. Front line. I can hold the line. He's convinced he can do anything.
Yeah.
Whether you guys want him to be in the front line, hey, that's cool too.
But can he do it? He's convinced, but can he really do it?
Yeah.
So he's the type of guy that would like roll
I
a
got
2
this.
on the stealth.
Why
and
do I
then-
picture Mr. Furley
I'm
casting
super
spells?
stealthy.
I would
All he
if I
needs is
did
an ascot.
if I did have an actor playing, I probably would do a young Don Knotts. That would
Yes.
probably
Awesome.
do young Don Knotts.
So it goes to Mr. Chicken. I love it.
I got to work on his voice. I got to get his voice down. It's going to be very nasally and just kind of hard to hear. But I'll try to-
Get him
So
off
we
me.
normally put you in the back, right?
Sure, I
Oh,
do have a
yeah.
longbow. I've got fire
Middle
spells,
back.
but I'm also like, you all have seen me like throw my hands up and like divert danger in any form. Like, so he's good at keeping himself alive.
Okay. And vanishing and reappearing.
Just that one time. That's more recent. That's more recent. Sure.
Yeah, but I mean,
Sure.
I'm figuring that we still would have seen this while we were fighting. You know.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
well,
we haven't been doing anything since then, so obviously.
He comes to the front line and goes,
I like to throw-
I use illegal weapons.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to take a level of monk just to have
Illegal weapons.
I'm gonna misty step to the front line, and then karate chop them for 1 point of damage.
all right, Marcus, what do you got for us?
I started off as a fighter. I picked up being a cleric. I am always on the front line. And in this particular group, I am always next to Ayers.
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 Yeah.
Ayers.
Ours?
Ayers.
Ayers.
I actually changed it to Ayers on the back, so I
There you
pronounced
go.
it right. I'm like, I always mess up his name.
What's your guy's name?
His name is Ayers.
Marcus.
Marcus.
He does have the last name, but he doesn't use it. I mean, I don't even know if that's my last name, but that's the last name or surname that I've been using anyway. But it's always been Marcus.
If you don't give us a last name, we'll never know it. I mean, so.
And with your eyes,
No, you guys know it,
Yeah, we
but
know it.
What
I
is it?
don't
It's
use it.
All right.
it's like
Yeah,
we don't
tight.
use Jebediah either.
Right,
He'll
tight.
like-
And we would think that also that you
With
know,
two
especially
capital
he would have already told us
For
that
double dose.
it's not
For a
something
double
he's
dose
even
of
100% on, right?
Right.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I speak Common and I speak Giant. Those are the two languages
You also
that I
speak
speak.
Celestial.
Hmm?
We learned Celestial.
You speak Asian too, right?
Celestial.
Yeah, remember? We had that conversation.
Yeah, you got.
During the caravan over the few months that we were together, we learned Celestial from someone.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I wrote down.
Well, maybe you did.
Well, if you wrote it down, it must be true.
Maybe you
I
just,
learned Celestial.
maybe you just dreamed it.
No, I learned.
Maybe,
It's
maybe,
one of my
maybe he
languages.
pretended he did. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention.
He just went. "Ah." They called that a language.
Oh.
That's good enough.
I think your guys' form of communication needs to be upgraded. There is a thing called texting and email that's available these days.
He is a Twilight cleric, so he likes to kind of chill at night and look at the stars. He has the ability to see in dark vision for 300 feet. He can share that once per day with up to, right now, up to 5 people.
Well, you guys are in luck. There's 5 people in your group.
That works out good.
Let's see here.
Now you're not a variant human. You're just a. You just went standard
Yeah,
human.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, no extra feet. He's charismatic, he's wise, he's stout and fairly strong.
And he's a proficient medic. He actually snaps to right into action, from what you guys have all seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a medic, like he does medicine, or is he like
Both.
Okay.
He's
He has a
Right.
pouch full of moss.
he's right by your guys' side in the moments of, you being injured, and he's pretty good at monitoring.
And you guys know if you're in danger health wise, you should call out. just
I should say, ow.
something. Because I'm on the front lines. I'm
Me too.
I'm going to be in the face of danger.
Do you have a letter from him?
I just realized.
That's where we're soldiers.
Yeah, my background is far traveler. Go figure.
Now that's why you've built your patchwork armor, because you even though you're a fighter, you know how to defend yourself, but you also want to make sure that you're where the people that are going to damage the most, and you're not getting crushed while you're doing it, while you're healing.
Right.
them. Okay.
And we've even looked for pieces for him while we're on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Like if we know your shoulder got damaged, we look for a replacement for that for you.
Which you found plenty of,
Right.
but unfortunately, undead armor isn't always the greatest armor.
Right, that's why it all looks kind of
Yeah.
different etchings, different,
Gently
just-
used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he worships Ilmater.
And that is the god of
Suffering.
He is the lawful god of
Suffering.
Suffering. He is the suffering god.
yeah, he's basically I'm there to help
Maybe so.
peasants, everybody, even peasants.
So when you
Somebody's gotta do
when
it,
you
I
walk
guess.
around town, if you mean and you know that you're not going to be fighting or anything, you'll like heal the poor or heal the
I don't know about heal, but
I mean if we're like coming in for the night and we're going to be
I'll buy him clothes.
Okay. See,
And he's been known to administer aid to them as well.
okay, so like through herbs and stuff like that.
Main tenets of it is to ease the suffering of others, and that's generally like whatever's bought. Like,
Now, don't you have the cool ability to like stabilize someone when they hit 0 hit points, so they don't have to make death
Spare the
saves?
dying, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's a cantrip.
It's a nice little thing that he's got.
Is it a
his sleeve.
touch?
yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you have like a mage hand, or a familiar?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Anything else about your character you'd like to share, or is that it?
No, other than what I've already read in his backstory, he's got a very dark hair,
Right.
but in the sunlight it's purple. You can tell it's purple.
You don't mind actually asking questions. Why does Marcus follow Ilmater? Like, why did you pick him? Like, why did Marcus pick him, not Dave?
It's just something that when he started following him when he became a cleric, not when he was a fighter, but when he picked up the healing, that's what he
Right.
liked.
So he just noticed people were suffering
He
and
wanted
he
to
didn't
help.
like it.
He wanted to help.
Yeah. Did you do the traits and the ideals, or are you going to just
No,
roll?
yeah,
Yeah, because I was just wondering if you were going to roll with it as we go.
yeah, probably something will come
Alright.
up. Or I've thought up of a couple things, but I haven't really.
Committed to it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, in our fighting days,
Yeah.
previous fighting days,
Yeah.
The war.
The war.
how do we see at night? Who here casts light spells?
He just said he cast see and dark.
I know that. Other than that,
That was it. He
that's
was,
once a day. How long does that last? I'm
An
guessing
hour.
1 hour.
Wow.
1 hour. So other than that,
I have dark vision.
so the rest 23 hours or 7 hours a day at least of darkness. Does anybody else cast light, or are we torching
I
it
have
up? Or are
light.
we?
I have the light spell.
Okay, that's just kind of one of the things I figured we should ask to know as a group.
Because you could
Just
see,
in case.
because Marcus can see in the dark all the time.
Right.
He can share it for an hour.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can see in the dark all the time as long as I have that rune active.
I can send.
I have
see-
dark vision, and then at a certain level of
Mine's 120 feet.
I'll get into that with the other.
All right. My turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, like 6'4", 235. I appear to be the strongest in the group.
Really?
Yes.
Did you up your strength then over 18?
Yes.
Okay.
As you know, Polar Master.
It's a good workout. Makes sense that you would be the strongest with that dangling thing way out there, swinging it around. So,
Ideals of the greater good are allowed us to lay down our lives in defense of others, especially others we know. My bonds are those in our group or those who fight beside me are worth dying for. Flaws. I'd rather eat armor than admit I'm wrong.
Wow. That should be
And one of my personality traits is I'm full of inspiring and cautionary tales from my military experience, which you guys already know all my military experience, relevant to almost every combat situation. So you guys are used to this, and I don't really do it around you much.
I mean, you should though.
Yeah, you should.
You should all the time, dude.
No,
all the
You need
time.
to tell those stories because then it
Yep.
needs to hear these stories. I like to hear them. I
would be
like to
glad
spin
hear
on
these
it.
stories with you, especially with you.
This is gonna
We
make,
want to hear.
I saved him once.
Yeah.
This is gonna make your role playing this go to
Dude,
the
yeah,
next
you
level.
have got to do
Not a
it where
problem.
you and you have to say, like, you have to have like 10 different stories that you say all the time. I mean, so you keep rehashing the story.
And then like change them a little bit here and there.
It's like the high school football days.
Yeah,
You know,
so you keep
serious.
getting-
That would be,
that would be awesome.
that would be epic. That's a great trait.
That would get you more experience points.
I am a frontline fighter. I can be behind the front line, like barely, but I tend not to be. I tend to be in the front and try to, because I am a reach fighter, try to get anything or slow anything down before it can do major damage to people that maybe shouldn't be in the front line.
Now,
Well, I'll keep an eye out for those people.
Yeah. I'll be right behind you. Don't worry. No problem. Did you take for your feet? Did you decide to go with
Polearm
Polearm
Master.
Master? Okay. So I'm assuming that Sentinel might be coming soon.
It is.
Yeah, because that's going to be just dirty.
Yes.
What about languages?
Languages are only Dwarven from my adopted father and common. So
What kind of armor do you have on?
plate.
I just imagine
Which
you
we-
speak with like a dwarven accent.
Yeah, he does speak a little more guttural, and that's not necessarily fair. But
Scottish.
he does speak a little more gravelly. And I'm trying to pick up some Elvish from you,
Sure.
especially through. I kind of look after you a little bit, and we look after each other ever since some stuff has happened in our group.
It was one time.
Right now, you got all the cursors.
One
It was one time.
But I also like the fact that one of the things I look up to is the fact that you're able to cast like fire. I got to work in the blacksmith with my father a lot, so I try to keep my weapons and armor fairly clean and shiny and work on that stuff as well as practice my craft some. But I also definitely appreciate the fire significantly because my adopted father loves fire himself.
Fire.
So I have a great appreciation for that, which is one of the reasons why I like spending some time with Adenia. That's about it.
All right. Last but not least, Ayers.
Here's Molten Stride. He's 6'4", 250 pounds. Just a really big 19-year-old kid that climbed the ranks. He was a lieutenant. His personality-wise, he's the go in and face the enemy one-on-one, with you by his side. But that's his. He likes to distract, be the focus, that type of fighting style, and he can dish out quite a bit of damage. He uses a great sword, wears splint mail, and one of the things he's really good at is blind fighting. So anything within 10 feet of him, he doesn't have a problem. He can even be blindfolded and still fight them in the dark. So he might not be able to see in the dark, but he can handle himself, at least with things that are up close range. I need to be warned about.
Nice.
And personality traits, he's not very. It's not that he's quiet. He's just not somebody who's going to say something that doesn't have meaning behind it. He likes to listen to everybody. He believes that you guys are all, loyal to him, and he's loyal to you. He does have a little bit of favoritism towards AJ because he's his brother, but it doesn't stand out that much. His ideas, he really strongly believes in honor, doing the honorable thing. One of the things the ones that were there in last session, when I took the owlbear head in, the guy gave me money. You all probably know I gave back money. like that was too much. He gave 75, I gave 25 back. We collected 50 because it would just seem like a poorer place. So he tries to do what's right for everybody, not just for the group. He does want to make his name known again, to build a house of Molten Stride and somewhere. So that's his drive. He wanted to steal, kill, or cheat to do it. He wants to accomplish it in honor, which is a little bit opposite of what AJ is. His bonds are, I said with you guys, very much about just doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And that right thing might not always go against what the laws say are the right thing. Okay? And then flaws, he has an issue with nobles. Like, you could tell that, and he's very charismatic. He's very persuasive. He's very good at speaking and doing those type of things. But when he gets around nobles, he sometimes either talks down to them, or you can tell his attitude changed a little bit, as if he doesn't feel like he fits in. That's where the abuse came from when he was younger, was from those people. So he doesn't have a necessarily, doesn't like orcs. He just doesn't trust people with money or people with influence.
So I should talk to those people?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Which is why you don't yell at me so much when I'm stealing money from those nobles.
Right. So that's one of his major flaws there. But he is charismatic. He speaks Common. He speaks Elven. His god he worships is Hieronymus. Is that his name? Yeah. Hieronymus, which is the god of chivalry, justice, honor, war, daring, and valor.
And will add, he has a very sharp-looking miniature on its way.
Yeah. So
Looks pretty cool.
And like I said, he uses a great sword, so he's a two-hand fighter, and he's up in the front, and he just likes to. He trusts that you guys know what to do. There's very few times that he, in battle, will say, "Go here, go there," unless you're going to be in danger because of where you are, or something along those lines. He's very much concentrate on the main enemy he's fighting, because everybody else is doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's why he believes you're still all alive.
I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Why do you know Elvin?
Because the person whose name was Marsh Molten Stride,
Gotcha.
not Molten Stride, but Milestone.
Yeah.
He was the one who trained me, took me under his wing, and saw that I was, so he was half elvish, and he died, and he taught me all those things.
That is right. Half Elven, I do remember that now.
Yeah. Which is, he knows Dwarven and I don't, because
Right.
as we grew up, we were in separate classes.
Right.
Dad would come home, he'd go on the hunt for the fox or whatever.
So I guess my other question would be, why does Ayers want to be a noble again? Like, to be a noble, he doesn't really like them.
He considers himself, when he establishes a house, that he's going to change things.
Oh,
that
okay.
it's not going to be,
You won't be the same.
right.
You won't be
He's
like
talking about voting people in and changing those people over in chairs and those type of things. Things that are not thought of.
Awesome. Denny and I, we would have discussions about this whole process of democracy, which just, what the hell's that? And
Exactly.
just love to hear all about it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I think I'm pleased.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that was good.
Good group.
And then basically, you guys have all have shown your worth, in the past 3 years.
And one of the things I know that we talk about voices, we come from the south, so we have southern
Yo.
accents.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's all right. That's fine.
Real quick, so you don't like to talk? Is that seriously? You're the person talker. You talk to the.
I would imagine if he doesn't
Okay.
want to deal with nobles.
Yeah, you don't want me doing it.
Well, I
No,
can, I
plus
do
one.
it. You just see that
Prefer
sometimes
not to.
I may be condescending to them. I may, because I have really high persuasion and conversation skills, and so does he. So if I'm faltering, he easily steps in, and vice versa.
What part did you say? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
What part did I say?
He was saying that during the conversations, like with a noble or something, he would be the one speaking for the group.
Who are the? I know we've said your face, but who is literally the faces of the group when it comes
It
to
would
talking?
be-
Did we establish that yet?
No, well, that's a question I'm asking. You said you talk to people, he's high persuasive, but you mentioned Ayers has a hard time not talking down or with disdain to nobles.
So the reason why these two would be talking to people, well, is because of course they're 18 charisma, 18 charisma.
17. I got 17.
Whatever. Shut up. That's higher than my 12. But that's the whole point, is that that's the thing that they, so we know that they have, like, they're very well spoken, and we don't have to worry about
Right.
dealing with it.
Again, just kind
And I don't want to talk to nobles anyway, so.
We talked about where you were doing combat. I think it's talked to me what your roles of combat are.
And then one of the things that happens is, because I took the fighting style for samurai, is that at 7th level I become like this very disciplined, attention person that gets a wisdom modifier and charisma and all that stuff. So it just kind of
It
plays
stacks,
off as that
yeah.
well. So it may change as I progress as a character,
Sure.
talking to nobles, but as of right now, those were my abusers. So it would, of course, go to Dave.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
I forgot to tell everybody this too. I play a lute as well, but I don't play it very well. So, and I might occasionally sing, but I don't sing very well. But I think I do. Because usually it's when alcohol's involved. It's like karaoke night.
Awesome. That's gonna be exciting.
I don't get the sound spell. Do you get it?
Oh, and I'm proficient with thieves' tools and
Later.
smith tools. So, I forgot to say this before, but my main goal is to be, is going to be more like, I'm trying to be as much utility as possible. Like when it comes to, detecting traps, and picking locks, and I'm building myself to be able to do those well. Like for my fire rune, it gives me double proficiency in any tools that I'm proficient with. So I'm already proficient with thieves' tools, so I automatically get double proficiency as long as they have that rune active. Which is why I want to, be that guy, because then I don't have to, I've already it's like free proficiency for me. And of course the stealing,
Somebody's gonna do it.
It's acquiring.
yes, it's acquiring and giving it away.
And he's also mentioned you guys since being discharged from the army. With his background of knowing how to track down people, there have been a couple of times where you guys have wrangled up bounties to try to make a little money to keep up your supplies and try to, basically stay alive. Because after leaving the army, you really guys don't have anything left over.
You haven't found a job.
Yeah,
really.
you don't have any jobs, and when you try to go back to your home towns and stuff, everything was all pretty much jacked up. Where the war had decimated a lot of stuff.
We did just do a job, right?
Yes, you guys on your way to Longsaddle just completed a job.
We did. I got it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and where we're gonna leave this off at is you guys meet up in Longsaddle at this inn/tavern right here, and you are at the Night Cloak, which is right up here.
Want me to read this?
Yeah, you could go ahead and share with.
Oh, what happened?
This is Marcus in Marcus's eyes. What happened?
I read it already. So
Okay.
go ahead.
It's called Along the Way. On the way to meet Gravenor and Adenia in the city of Longsaddle, Shinmoku, Ayers, AJ, and myself stopped in a small village for some food and drink. Talking to an innkeep that apparently AJ knew, we found out there have been a number of disappearances in the area recently. After some discussions with the town constable and mayor, we decided to investigate. We went to the spot of the last attack. There was a few dead horses and a mix of orc and human appendages laying around. Shinmoku found a trail of small of a small boy, Grayson, and some sort of bear footprints that led away.
There's the scene of the crime.
That led away from the carnage. We followed them to a small cave entrance. As we ventured into the cave, Shinmoku was scouting a few feet ahead, and he got tangled in a sticky filament. Before he could react, he was being raised up about 50 feet by a cave fisher. The group used a grapple hook and a rope to ascend the wall and rescue Shinmoku, who by the time we got there
That
had
was here.
taken a lot of damage. When I began healing him, I came to the conclusion that I have a lot to learn in the healing arts. As we explored farther in the cave, we were attacked by a beast that killed so many people and orcs, and it was an owlbear. After several good attacks, Shinmoku finished it off with a perfectly placed shot to the eye.
This deadly owl bear right here, if you want
Dun,
to set it on
dun.
the table so you can see.
We safely get to
That's what happened to him
Wake
too.
up! Wake up!
we safely get to Grayson, but he has been mortally wounded by the huge claw strike from the owlbear. We bring Grayson back to
Grayson's
hospital
right over here.
and collect our reward, though it feels like a failed mission. At least there is closure for the mayor.
Who didn't give a crap about his son.
I'll take the pros and the cons with that one.
So yeah, that was the little adventure that they went on last week. So
Nice.